And joining us now is former Israeli ambassador to the United States, Gilad Erdan. Thank you, Ambassador, for taking the time. So this ceasefire between Iran and Israel appears to be on thin ice. Do you expect it to take hold?
I expect it to continue because I think it's in the interest of both countries. For us, the feeling in Israel, it's not only feeling. I mean, these are the facts. We have achieved most of our objectives. Most importantly, Iran's nuclear capabilities have been eradicated thanks to the leadership, the courageous decision that was made by President Trump. But in addition, we have also succeeded to destroy most of their ballistic missiles and launchers. And I think we also conveyed a clear message to the region, and especially to Iran, that if they think that they can work under the radar and arm proxies and surround us with hundreds of thousands of missiles and rockets, we are going to act as we did, and we have succeeded to weaken their terrorist proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah significantly.
So President Trump's on his way to the NATO summit this morning. Yesterday, he was claiming victory, saying the ceasefire is unlimited. It's going to go on forever. Now he's saying he's unhappy with both sides. Listen.
These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either.
We now know he spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu this morning after those comments, and Netanyahu reportedly agreed to hold back additional strikes. Is Netanyahu taking orders from President Trump?
It's not about orders, and let me clarify something. We did not violate the ceasefire. The ceasefire said that both sides can continue for a few more hours, and we tried to use this time to target regime, infrastructure, because we all know that Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. And Iran was the one that within minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning violated the ceasefire. And yes, it wasn't so pleasant to hear what President Trump said, but we all remember in Israel, and especially the Prime Minister, that when it comes to President Trump, his words, his actions speak louder than his words. At the end of the day, he was the one to eradicate Iran's nuclear capabilities, and we can understand his political ambitions to also fulfill his word. He promised the American people to end wars and not to prolong wars. So I assume he tried to apply pressure also on Israel, but there's no moral equivalence between Iran indiscriminately firing at our civilian population and Israel targeting, terrorists and terrorist infrastructure inside of Tehran.
So just to follow up, is Netanyahu listening to President Trump?
As long as they work together as a team. Sometimes even within the family, there could be disagreements. Prime Minister Netanyahu is the Prime Minister of Israel. He is committed to the national security and interest of Israel. But for sure, in order to preserve and maintain our great relationships with America and the American administration, we will always make some compromises that are not contradicting our national interest and national security.
You said that Israel had achieved its goals. Excuse me. And so I'm wondering, why did you need those additional strikes then after the ceasefire was announced? And what about regime change? Is that still an Israeli priority?
Regime change is a dream not only for Israel. It should be a dream for the democratic world, because now it's an Ayatollah regime hell-bent. They want to impose their Shiite hegemony over all of us, and first and foremost the Middle East. So we want to see a different regime there, but it's not up to us. It's not even up to America. It's up to the Iranian people to decide who will be their leader. And what was your other question? Sorry.
Just you talked about at the very top of our conversation how Israel had achieved its goals, and yet they still kept firing against Iran, even after President Trump said there had been a ceasefire reached.
Yeah. So as I said, first of all, Iran is 80 times bigger than Israel, and 10 times more population, 90 million people. So they have so many terrorists and military targets in Iran that might endanger the future of the free world, because it's not that they are now saying that they're going to behave peacefully and make peace with Israel or their Sunni countries. So we believe we are helping the moderate, the free democratic world by degrading their terrorist capabilities. So as long as the ceasefire wasn't in place, so we continue to degrade their terrorist and military capabilities. That's what we did. It wasn't a violation of the ceasefire. At 7:00 a.m. Israel time, we stopped.
Okay. President Trump had apparently disagreed with that assessment.